in relationship to Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's passing.
Yes.
But oh God, the peacocks are starting. I'd like to offer my sincere and humble obeisances to the devotees who have joined, whether or not you are a disciple of His Holiness Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj. On one level, because Maharaj is actually 1 year older than me, so in that way we were age-wise contemporaries, but spiritually he is in another dimension. And I'm just looking up, trying to catch a glimpse of the dust of his lotus feet. I had the honor of, I was given a Bhagavatam class, but I took that as an opportunity to speak about Maharaj instead. And on that same day, one of my god sisters departed a few hours earlier, so I was able to mention both of them, but in particular Maharaj at length. So we can take a pause here. Om Gyan Tamarandasya Janana Sakalaya Chakchum Militam Jena Tasme Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Viskachate Satarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Everybody together, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpa tarubhyascha kripasindu voyevyacha patitanam pavanevambhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So we can say that death is like the elephant in the room. I hope you know that saying, elephant in the room. If you don't know, I'll just give an example. I actually have an elephant in my room, but it's it's just um, a sculpture. But elephant in the room refers to a topic or a situation, could even be a person that everybody knows. It's right there in front of your face, but nobody dares say anything about it. It's just you don't speak. But death, the elephant in the room, it can't be ignored. But at the same time, we do a really good job of ignoring it. It's natural for us to be fearful of our own mortality, especially when faced with the departure of one's guru. There's that well-known conversation in the Mahabharata between Yudhishthira and a realized sage. The sage is asking the king, "What's the most important, amazing thing?" King meaning Yudhishthira. What's the most important thing you've seen in your life? And he replies, "The most amazing thing I've seen is death is taking place everywhere, but no one ever thinks it's going to happen to them." And then I'll paraphrase, or to their guru. Certainly, as young people at the time, none of us ever could imagine that Srila Prabhupada would depart, even though he was decades older than even the oldest of us. We all knew that mantra, birth, death, disease, and old age, but certainly that would not apply to Prabhupada. And I can imagine many of you maybe have thought the same thing. The scriptures explain when we come to this world with a certain number of breaths, and then the countdown begins the moment we exit the womb. And since we really don't know when it's going to happen, every moment should be lived in such a way that we're preparing our consciousness for that final moment. Actually, our so-called birth, the day of our birth, is actually bringing us one day closer to death. And this doesn't mean that we're constantly thinking about death in a morbid way and getting depressed. It means living life in such a way that we're constantly endeavoring to create balance in our lives by remembering Lord Krishna at all times in a favorable manner and never forget him. You know, the examples are there in the Bhagavatam, well-known passages from the second chapter, which provide us with broad perspectives of life, death, and our ultimate existence. And we read how a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones. The soul ultimately similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. But the glorious thing for devotees, particularly the self-realized spiritual masters, that he is fully conscious of his position as a soul, and he's giving up an old material body, but he's not going to be accepting another one. The soul can't be cut to pieces by any weapon, or burnt by fire, or moistened by water, or withered by wind. It's eternal, it's everlasting. So this verse it can alleviate our basic and most fundamental concern, this fear of ceasing to exist. Gita explains the only thing about us that deteriorates and dies is the body. And that's the comparison with the old set of garments. So one may argue that the body of the spiritual master is fully spiritual, and that is a fact. The exterior body is made of matter and such. It's subject to afflictions, decay. But this does not mean that the guru is suddenly a lesser mortal. The real person, the soul within, continues to live on without being affected by any of the elements of this world, including the time factor, which is ultimately responsible for diminishing the life of all. But time has no effect on the spiritual self, the soul. And that way the guru is unaffected by anything to do with matter. So the soul is eternal. It will continue to exist even after the disappearance of the body, and the fully enlightened souls will return to Godhead, or at the request of their guru, like in Srila Prabhupada's case. Srila Prabhupada was requested to come and continue active service. So in that respect, if that is the case, Srila Prabhupada could ask Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj, please come and help me over here. Please go over there. He could do that. Or it may be he is seeing how much Maharaj has done for the society, how much he has helped Srila Prabhupada develop ISKCON, how much he has assisted his disciples, how much he has helped broaden ISKCON, the base of ISKCON, in so many different places. India, Russia, Canada, America, Europe, so many places, Africa even, he has helped Srila Prabhupada increase the Hare Krishna movement. So Prabhupada may say, you have done so much. Now go and play with Krishna and Sri Vrindavan Dham in Goloka Vrindavan. But either way, it is perfection. And Gita teaches us that in order to properly prepare for the final exam, we, the fallen souls, need to engage in spiritual activities. And this helps us realize the nature and reality of our soul and simultaneously distance us from the bodily concept of life. So how one feels when the guru departs is going to depend a lot upon the relationship one has developed with your guru and how much we have accessed his teachings within ourselves and practiced them. In Gita, it's it gives this one verse, 7:16, that, best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he was searching for knowledge of the absolute. So in general, the guru will come into our lives when there's a great need, as described, our readiness. When we first meet the guru, we come into contact with an extraordinary personality who suddenly shows us how small are the boundaries of our normal everyday existence. And we come to him to help and guidance, to throw open the doors of life, so to speak, and remove these boundaries, these attachments that limit us. It may happen that someone's mind is so simple and his life is so pure that the guru may bring him almost at once in touch with his true nature because he's ready for it, and he remains in this once and for all. But that is a fairly rare occurrence in our day and age, and for most of us, the need to be brought to the guru arises from contradictions and lack of simplicity in our lives. When the guru guides the imbalanced seekers through the labyrinth of illusions in relationship where there may be very deep sharing, the, our gurus help us understand. He can understand when there is an opening in us. And in a moment of receptivity, he can light a spark. He can show us the reality of a timeless internal energy, the spiritual energy. And he can show us how we have cut ourselves off from that spiritual energy, Lord Krishna, how we've cut it out of our daily lives. That he doesn't go away from us, rather we go away from him. And the Guru points out to us how we are going away, or merely through our contact with him, we can become more sensitive and alert to this tendency and learn to regain our balance. And thus our openness to the Guru becomes our openness to all of life. Now, if we're not honest with ourselves during our lifetime with Guru, with our teacher, sometimes trying to perhaps give the appearance of having learned something when actually we haven't understood it at all. I mean, I'm sure most of you have kind of gone through that. You don't quite understand something, but you kind of we tend to act like we do. Maybe we're embarrassed to ask, wait, I don't understand. What does this mean? So we just pretend we know. But our, we we may have certain desires which we don't acknowledge because we want to look like we're a more perfect disciple than we really are. But then suddenly, when we find ourselves left on our own, the underlying reality of our situation will express itself. Like if we suppressed our hidden our desires, covered them up, so to speak, they'll reappear. And the incomplete understandings that we have um, covered up by trying to show ourselves to be more perfected than we are, those incomplete understandings will have like a hollow ring. And if we were able to keep our bad habits and tendencies under control only through the continual inspiration of our guru, then they also may resurface if we've not fully transformed those desires into spiritual desires. So we have to take it, if we take it upon ourselves to understand our deep-rooted samskaras, our desires, our tendencies, if we learn to rediscover openness, like, young children, they're very open. We become more aware of the necessity to come in contact with the spiritual energy. And even when the Guru departs this world, we will still be able to feel the precious quality of his, um, feel his precious quality. And we'll be able to continue learning. And we don't have to fear that we'll lose our way. As was just expressed, the worst day of our life, practically speaking, is when the spiritual master departs from this world. Um, these this the different reactions or responses when we're used to his presence, serving him in certain ways, thinking of him in certain ways, listening to his classes, waiting and longing for him to visit our town, our temple, or host a home engagement, participating in special exchanges, and then suddenly all such prospects appear to vanish. And that's when we can say the depths of our despair can become unfathomable. Um, Brahmananda Prabhu saw me at the time he was on a train in India, and a person came up to him with a newspaper. It was like a very long haul train ride. A person came up to him with a newspaper, and he recognized Brahmananda as being a ISKCON member because there weren't so many Western Vaishnavas at that time. So he came with the newspaper. Look, it says your guru has died. He used that word, has died. And Brahmananda, he couldn't compute at first. What is this man saying? And then he shows him the newspaper. And there he is on this train. How many hours behind him? How many hours a day ahead of him on the train? Other devotees were in airports distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. That's how they came to find out. Myself, I was in Paris, in France, and we knew Prabhupada was not well. He had come to England. Just you can take a boat. That now there's a tunnel underground, underwater tunnel. You can go in one day and back to from London to Paris. I've done it many times, but at that time you had to take a boat. We could have gone to England, many of us, but no. The plan was Prabhupada was going to leave England and travel to Paris. So we wanted to be ready for his arrival. But then he got sick and sicker and sicker. So he returned to India. And we're thinking he's going to recover. He's been sick before and he always recovers. So still we continued to prepare for his arrival. Myself, I spent the entire day of his departure, not knowing that is what it was going to be, trying to find a special chair that you could put in the bathtub because we were so immature and without experience in life. We didn't know there's such things. They're called orthopedic appliances. And there was a sunken bathtub because we had a very fancy temple at that time in Paris. So Prabhupada's room had a sunken bathtub. And so I knew he wouldn't be able to sit in that tub. He wouldn't be able to like properly bathe. So I wanted to have a chair where he could sit, firmly sit, and then could easily bathe with assistance. So I'm going all around France, all around Paris. There's this big road that goes all the way around. I had a yellow page from the phone book because we didn't have the convenience of cell phones at that time. And we're going page by page to all the Moublés. Moublés mean stores for furniture. And I didn't speak French. So I'm going into these stores trying to explain in fractured French that I wanted a chair that you could put in a bathtub. And it didn't go well, and I didn't find such a chair. And we finally just like got toward the end of the day. So me and my Sankirtan partner, we went back to the temple. And as we opened the door to the lobby, the phone rang. And I just had this feeling of a trepidation. And I turned to Guna. I said, you take it. And I'm standing there and I just opened the door of the temple, but I didn't go in. I'm standing there and watching her speak, her face. And then I'm seeing her put that phone down and I'm seeing her face go into a different expression and color. And she told me he has departed. And we walked into the temple, and there were just a few devotees there. We make our obeisances to his beautiful Murti and we say, he is departed. And we all started this most pathetic kirtan. That's the only way I can describe it. It was a pathetic kirtan. We were so sad. We were so drained. We were so overwhelmed. And who do we turn to? We had no idea. And through at one point, the temple door opened, and Bhagavan, who was our GBC, and he had been at the farm, so he just returned, and he brought the farm president with him, Swambar. And Bhagavan, he had sort of a cocky attitude, and anytime he would arrive, everybody would it was a big deal. But that day, we barely even looked at him. We just kept on with our little pathetic kirtan. And then he could understand something was not right. And somebody went upstairs and told him. But nobody really knew exactly what to do except chant or return to our service, whatever it was. Um, my god sister Jagat Janani did not have the opportunity to see Srila Prabhupada during his physical presence. And she was thinking, what do I do? What should I do? She was distributing books in the airport. So she went back to the airport and she's distributing the books or trying to, but she's thinking about Prabhupada. And she was thinking so intensely about Srila Prabhupada that suddenly she saw him at the airport. She saw him and she just fell to the ground right there in the airport. Like you try not to call attention to yourself, but she fell to the ground and made obeisances. And she looked up and he was smiling at her and then he disappeared. So there's many ways disciples respond to the situation. Some become numb, can barely accept it. They can't face the idea of life without Guru Dev's presence, absorbing in service, feeling somewhat pacified. Some may have never even thought or contemplated the day when a guru would be gone. It can be so shocking as well as extremely upsetting. There can be copious tears or none at all. In our case, we were kind of in the mindset you had to, like the British have this saying, keep a stiff upper lip. We just had to hold it in. And most the devotees at that time tried their best, and others, they just fell apart with tears falling to the ground. Tears. So the way each disciple will deal with this situation is as variegated as there are disciples. Some are going to feel anger or betrayal that how could he have left us? Some devotees are angry with Prabhupada for leaving, you know, even blaming, or some will blame themselves for real or imagined offenses. There's feelings of abandonment, despair, guilt. What did I do to contribute to this? What could I have done to prevent it? There's depression. All of this is part of what we call the grieving process associated with loss. And then comes accepting and coping. There may or may not be a sense of quote unquote getting over it. There is nothing there that says one must quote unquote get over it. The gopis, including Srimati Radharani, certainly never got over it. Krishna's departure from Braj. They wept incessantly, and that was their perfection. But alas, we're not on that level, so what are we to do? I can honestly say I have never got over Prabhupada's departure, and I don't want to get over it because it just brings me so close to him, and I never. At the same time, we have to continue on in our services, continue on with our life. So how do we continue receiving the spiritual master's association now that he's departed? Through his Vani, we've heard of that. Naturally, Devani is there in his books, his tapes, his CDs, his videos, his recordings, or any other method that one can hold to remember his teachings, his mannerisms, his ways of spiritual practice. But most of all, now there's each other. Disciples can share with each other their own stories and memories of various events that took place with their guru. When a person of Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami's magnitude passes, there's going to be very, very, very senior disciples down to very, 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 very new disciples. The senior disciples should be merciful to the junior disciples by giving their association. And through these methods, one can fill the time and the mind with the association of the Guru. As Shinanda pointed out, you may have to work a little harder now to evoke the presence of your Guru, because there's going to be layers and layers of feelings and emotions. But in spite of so many ways we may deal with the situation, there's a bottom line. What are we going to do? What are you going to do now? The loss of your spiritual master may mean that it's time for you to enter a new level of understanding your purpose, your own purpose, our own potential, our own full Krishna conscious responsibility, even up to leadership ability. It may be the time to move forward, to step forward, to help fill the gap that has been left by the physical absence of the spiritual master. It may mean that Gopal Krishna Goswami, as I mentioned, has been called to serve somewhere else by Srila Prabhupada or by Krishna's desire. And that means you and your God brothers and God sisters are left here to carry on with the mission of your Guru in alignment with Srila Prabhupada's teachings in ISKCON. Gopal Krishna Goswami very clearly stated, and we saw through his example, that there was no imperfections in his life. It doesn't mean mistakes, little mistakes, this or that, but there was no falling down. Um, there was no situations where his character was called to question. Um, and he was fully aligned with Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON. He never left. He never thought about leaving. He was a perfect disciple. And as a perfect disciple, he became a perfect spiritual master. So some of you may have to step forward. You should step forward to take more responsibility. Maybe a time to depend more on your God family and well-wishers from the devotee community, because it's not like the God brothers and God sisters of Gopal Krishna Goswami are separated from ISKCON. You are part of ISKCON, an integral part of ISKCON, and ISKCON is the devotees of many different spiritual masters who come together for the sole purpose of serving Srila Prabhupada and strengthening ISKCON from within and without. So it may be it is a time to meditate upon what Maharaj would want you to do. What would he expect from you in the situation? It may be a time to allow more of your own potential to manifest. You may feel you will never be what your guru was, or that you will never do anything equal to what he or she did. And actually, that is correct. We should feel that way, but we shouldn't become so consumed in that kind of feeling that we become numbed to this extent that we actually cannot continue with our devotional activities. We shouldn't feel that we will ever be greater or as great as or greater than our guru, but at the same time, not allow humility, whether real or imagined, to create a feeling of uselessness or stifle our own potential to carry out our guru's legacy and mission. Gopal Krishna's determination in preaching was a sign of his dedication to Srila Prabhupada, which is the example for all of you to follow as well. You know, don't think of kind of like fading. You may take a little step back for contemplation purposes. I mean, that is somewhat natural. Contemplate how you will serve now in within ISKCON, your Guru's mission, in which he undertook so much austerity and sacrifice and determination to establish, because it was a continuation of his own spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada's mission. But you can't legitimately feel that because your spiritual master is no longer present, that you're not inspired to continue, or that you will kind of like fade away. If you feel you can't go on because your guru is no longer present, how would that please him? Of course, initially you will have these feelings, that's a fact, but to prolong them and then act upon them, how will that please him? It's not an option. Otherwise, the love you have shown for your guru is ultimately going to be conditional love. Love as long as things are the way you want them to be or expect them to be, or as long as his form, your spiritual master is in the form with which you're the most familiar. So that's the conditional love. Some devotees may feel they just can't imagine their guru being sick, or never ever being able to dance with him again during kirtan, or that he will be preaching in his wonderful manner. But in this ever-changing material world, we cannot be attached to temporary appearances. The Guru will utilize whatever is necessary to inspire disciples to take up chanting of the holy name and continue with devotional service. So we have to raise our love to an unconditional state and see the essence of the spiritual master it's in his preaching, it's in his teachings, it's in his writings. It's the inspiration he provides that brings us to want to follow the process of hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, to continue in the permanent service of Lord Krishna. So this is the legacy of the Guru that we should be most attached to and dedicated to preserving, dedicated to continuing and expanding. Srila Prabhupada inspired everyone to chant the holy name in various ways, sometimes even through chastisement. And that chastisement was so sweet. There are disciples who just long for the day when, again, they will meet him and he will chastise them, because that chastisement was a sign of his recognition and his love. So through our attachment and dedication to our Guru and his mission, that we stay connected to him and the entire parampara that appeared before him. You can say the parampara is like the long arm, the extended arm of Krishna descending down through the generations. And when we're connected with our Guru, we're connected to the whole parampara. So the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya goes through Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Gaurakishora Das Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, on up to Lord Chaitanya, Srila Vyasadeva, Lord Brahma, to Lord Krishna himself. So it's been described as like grabbing an electric line that's empowered by the original powerhouse, Lord Krishna. So by keeping attached, connected to our Guru through faith and service, and our Guru is your Guru, Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami, he's connected with the parampara. He's connecting you to the parampara. You have the backing of all these great, powerful spiritual authorities. So we can think how much potency. You can think there's so much potency there to help you, and there is. And it can come through to help you help others. The disciple should never feel that you're alone without the presence of your spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada said as much of himself. He said, I'm never alone. My spiritual master is always with me. So the Guru is always there, and he's perceived depending on the faith and sincerity of the disciple. The spiritual platform is all around us. And the more focused we become on the spiritual dimension, the more we are in tune with those spiritual authorities who are existing on that stratosphere. Um, we can actually expect miracles on the path of Krishna consciousness. The fact that we've become connected to such a magnificent spiritual platform is already an example of a miracle. Srila Prabhupada said, when asked, do you perform miracles? These are my miracles. And he waved his hand at all of us. So it doesn't mean that we merely act as a witness to miracles around us, but we should be ready to see and allow miracles to happen within us, through us. And that is the effect of the potency of our connection to the Parampara, to your spiritual master. Even if our actions are full of faults, if our intention is sincere, then the potency of the Parampara can come through and empower us with unexpected results, can act through us, and miracles can nevertheless manifest through us or in the projects we sincerely try to do. And we never know how this will manifest. It may develop in unexpected ways, so we have to be determined to continue our service somehow or other, continue our preaching, and never give up. That's how we continue to get blessings of our spiritual master, even when it appears he's no longer physically present with us. The Guru can still continue to make himself known to the sincere disciple in so many ways. We just continue dedicating ourselves to his instructions, honoring him and his teachings without changing. I found, frankly speaking, that I became closer to Srila Prabhupada after his departure. Even though I had relatively a lot of personal association compared to many disciples, some who never even saw him, and particularly among women. But after his departure, I felt myself much closer to him. And I feel Srila Prabhupada giving his approval in a direct manner. It's amazing. At one point, after a sojourn where you could say, faded a bit, actually even a lot, I came to New Vrindavan. And I had never been here before in New Vrindavan. I'm here now, and I had never been here before. And as I entered into the temple, all around, I was seeing to the left, now they've moved Jagannath just recently, but to the left with Lord Jagannath, Subhadra Baladev, and where Lord Jagannath is now was Sitaran Hanuman. And then there was Gaur Nitai, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Gopal Nathji. There was magnificent, mighty Sri Nrsingadev. And then there was Srila Prabhupada. And I was looking at him. I still hadn't moved. I was in the doorway. It was like I was stunned. I couldn't move. I looked like I was standing still, and I was, apparently, but inside it was shaking like anything. And I looked at Srila Prabhupada, and he says, now stay, don't go. I heard him very clearly, and his finger came up, and he pointed to me, now stay, don't go. So a disciple can continue to honor and respect the spiritual master will definitely reciprocate. We just remain connected and inspired to preserve and expand the mission, just as Gopal Krishna Maharaj did. And in this way, we all uphold all that your spiritual master has worked for and the purpose of the Parampara. And our affection and our love and our connection with the spiritual master expands and strengthens. And in this way, our individual lives become more spiritually profitable and truly successful. Gopal Krishna Maharaj, I am fully convinced, was sent by Lord Chaitanya to assist. If it wasn't Lord Chaitanya, then it was Bhaktivedanta to assist Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada told us that all of you were connected with Lord Chaitanya's mission, but you didn't finish your business. And therefore, some of us were directly sent, not all of us, but I am convinced that Gopal Krishna Maharaj was sent to assist Srila Prabhupada, and he did it in such a magnificent way. So his presence in your life, rest assured, will assist you to perfect your own lives. And his presence in your life will be an enduring source of spiritual strength. So this is the few words that I have to say at this time. And don't fear your sadness. Don't feel like it's the end of the world. It's only a moment in time. We're on an eternal ship, and you're the captain of your ship is His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami. He's there to guide you and lead you, and he's never let go of Srila Prabhupada. So you are connected. You know, this is the beautiful thing about the Parampara. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the word of wisdom and confidence and encouragement you gave us today. You showed us it is okay to feel sad. It is still okay to cry for your guru. You showed us how we can stay connected to our guru with faith and service. And we have to just follow our guru's example and carry on like how he carried on his guru's instructions. And we have to keep that live in our heart. And you're absolutely right that miracles do happen, and you would never know what miracle will happen to you if you just fully, heartedly, faithfully keep on carrying this mission of your Guru and Srila Prabhupada. And I think we will all succeed. I do have few statements in the chat that I would like to share. One of them says, Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you for sharing your story. I feel your emotions. Death in this material world always leave a huge void in us, but you're absolutely right. We must chant and continue our duty and the mission. It's very difficult now for us all since our Guru, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, has left the material world. We miss him, but we pray to be at his lotus feet always. Hari Bol. So most of them said they're eternally grateful to Mother Malati. Thank you so much for this session. If anybody has any questions they would like to ask Prabhu, you can raise a hand or type it into the chat.
I would like to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Because in doing so, I feel myself also becoming, it's my service to Srila Prabhupada and my service to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. I've been keeping 2 little candles lit. We have his picture under the, on the Vyasa sign. So every day I'm bringing 2 little candles on his behalf, just as a small token of remembrance.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. We have, sorry, go ahead, Prabhu.
So what I'm sorry, trying to say is that if each of you in your own way, each day, sorry, find some little thing you can do offer an incense, offer a flower. Maybe you already do this. And don't let the day go by without speaking to your guru.
Absolutely. Thank you. We have Gopal Haridas Prabhu have a hand. And if I could ask him to unmute if you have a question.
Hare Krishna, Mother Malati, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for helping us in this way. Actually, since Guru Maharaj's departure, it's been very obviously very rough, very difficult, and your words were really gave so much support. And also, I'd like to thank the organizers for doing this, because it was actually very something that I personally really needed. And so much that you gave and said, I want to hear it again and again. Actually, so much that you spoke. Really, it was like one thing you said that was exactly resonated with what happened was when Guru Maharaj got sick, then we were thinking, as you had mentioned with Srila Prabhupada, like we were thinking he'll get well again, because last time he also got sick and he got well again. But then this time he decided to leave, and it was just so hard to digest that he left so quickly. And you're relating a similar experience helped us feel not alone. And also the point that really helped me was that you mentioned how he connected us to the parampara. So that connection is still there, because the biggest feeling was that loss of connection, like because we're not so advanced, we don't we want to and pray, but at least I don't I was feeling I wasn't able to see him after his departure in the way that other devotees may be able to or experience him. So so your words were very helpful, and I was thinking that it's devotees like yourself that will be our shelter after his departure.
Hare Krishna.
And I believe it's next Amritananda Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Malati Prabhu, please accept humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. My Guru Maharaj is Radhanath Swami, but Gopal Krishna Maharaj's disciples who are in our Sangha, ISKCON of Central New Jersey, long back they had shared that Maharaj had given them the instruction that during Ekadashi and special festival days, you should chant at least 25 rounds, and that what has really brought about a change. Earlier it was just you should chant more, but whether 17 or 18 rounds, with that finite number, that has helped. So Mataji, of course, thank you very much for this. It's very sublime what you have shared, these realizations. My question is that for a sadhaka, all of us are so conditioned, and personal association, we put more value on that. And through that personal association, we develop a kind of an attachment or love for the spiritual master. So what can a sadhaka do to not depend so much on the personal attachment or the opportunity to personally serve his or her Guru Maharaj and develop that love, Mataji, for him or her?
Have you read the book about Jamuna?
No, Mataji.
Well, in that book, she relates an incident when she realized, and this was, we were still quite fresh, new in our relationship with Prabhupada. But she realized that he wasn't going to be with us all the time. He would tell us, I'm an old man, I may die at any time. You know, like we knew that mantra, birth, death, disease, and old age, but we weren't able to apply it to him. So one day she got it, and at that moment she realized the seriousness and the profundity, how profound this practice of Krishna consciousness is, and that you have to prepare for the life. And that is going to come when the actual presence of the physical presence of the spiritual master won't be there. And if you're just thinking it depends on that body, you're going to be very devastated. You know, you will be you may even find yourself losing some faith. That happens. So she started preparing herself. And that's what it is. The instructions in Gita is that you mold your life in such a way that you will always remember Krishna and not forget him. And that is the message of the Gita, and that is the message that every spiritual master is giving to their disciples. But somehow it kind of falls short sometimes of our actual actions. So we have to prepare ourselves to remember Krishna. That is the basic message. And you can say, well, I mean, how can I remember somebody I don't really know yet?
Mm.
Let's speak frankly, we may feel like that. I mean, we accept Krishna, but we haven't really got to that point, most of us, that right there, he's in front of us, that person. There's a deity, there's a book. The book Bhagavatam is Krishna, so many things. I have a beautiful form of Krishna that I'm seeing right now. I mean, but we want to get to the point where that form is just as real to us as the person. Like I'm sitting here, okay, you're on my computer screen, but I'm seeing you move, I'm hearing you speak, and that the form of Krishna becomes just as real to us. And that means, in the same way of our spiritual master, that we follow his instructions very acutely and we serve him very nicely, especially now at this time. That's why I was saying just have a little routine where you connect with them every day, in the morning and the evening, and any time in between. But connect with your spiritual master
Mm.
through
Thank you.
service, through the service. I have god brothers and god sisters who never ever saw Srila Prabhupada, and to this day they are serving him with the same faith and conviction they had during his presence when they thought they would see him, but then he left.
Thank you for that, Mataji. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I guess next is Jita Krishna Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
All glories to Prabhupada. Pranam. Mataji, this is so special. And as you know, I mean, we wouldn't be his disciples without you. So this is
I still remember how happy I was when you told me you had taken initiation. Yes.
this and and at a time like this, your presence is so comforting and so powerful. And so many things you said, Mother Malati, which really hit home. And thank you so much for reminding us that he's been sent by Mahaprabhu or Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and that he is there with us at all times. And even though we may not be able to see the material body, but spiritually, he is there with us. And that is such a strong reinforcement that is going to help us stay focused. And obviously, you said so many wonderful things that I'm going to listen to again and again because this is recorded. So thank you so much for that. But I do want to say very honestly that there is a slight amount of impatience in my mind to experience some of the things that you described, particularly, feeling the presence of the Guru even after he is gone. I mean, I have that firm faith in my mind, but after you said what you said, I mean, and maybe, obviously, I'm not qualified to experience what you experienced when Prabhupada said to you that don't ever go again. I mean, he communicated with you, but that itself is such a wonderful example, because I mean, that is a story that I can trust and hang on to at times when I might be feeling the pangs of separation get a little strong. So thank you so much for everything that you've said. I just have to meditate more and more on your instructions to us at this point, and really appreciate you taking the trouble to reach out to us at this point.
Please offer my regards to your wife.
She is online, and it's just that her voice, because of her voice, she's unable to kind of communicate with you, but these are the feelings that she's sharing with me and conveying to you as well.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Next, we have Shyama Chandra Das. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, my obeisances unto your lotus feet. Jai Guru Maharaj, Jai Prabhupada. Thank you for organizing, and it's a blessing for us to have your darshan, your Prabhupada disciple. So my question is that, before the question, I'm thankful to Malati Mataji. Actually, we are from Pakistan, and it's in Dubai, it's 5:20 a.m. And we connected by the mercy of Jadurani Mataji and Omkar Prabhu. They shared the link with us. So I'm joining, my wife is also joined with me. So Mataji was asking, in Pakistan, there was a flood, and she has a concern about the devotees. She was asking on email a few years back. So we replied that we are fine. And today, after a depart of our Guru Maharaj, she has concern for the devotees. So this is a big thing for us. So what is my question? That sometime we see dreams at the night that we are communicating with our Guru Maharaj. So my question is that sometimes they are positive, some they are negative, sometimes they are instructions. And also myself, I have seen some dreams with my Guru Maharaj. So what is the authenticity of these dreams?
Well, I personally asked Srila Prabhupada about dreams. Of course, obviously, it was present when I asked him. But he said, yes, the spiritual master can appear in dreams. I had a very strong dream where he did appear, and so did Shyam Sundar, my husband at the time. And we simultaneously had dreams where I won't go into the whole story now, but it showed our immediate dependence and willingness to depend on him, and he was pleased by that. On other occasions, other persons have had dreams that were kind of questionable. In one case, the devotee told Prabhupada that he saw Prabhupada, and Prabhupada told him he could take LSD. And Prabhupada said, that wasn't me, that was Maya dressed like me. And another devotee gave some other dream, and Prabhupada just dismissed it. He said, just chant Hare Krishna and those dreams will go away. So we have to be a little careful. If our intention to serve is pure, in all likelihood, if the Guru appears, there will be some purity. But if we're still in a confused state or a compromised state, like yes, no, maybe, should I, then you can probably expect some kind of mixed dreams.
Okay.
Keep good keep as good as much as you can, keep good association.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, next we have Radha Kriti Dasi. Prabhu, just let us know when is if it's getting too late for you.
Hi, Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for the class.
Thank
I was
you.
wondering, so I know that Guru Maharaj never leaves us and he's eternally with us, but how can we see him communicating with us in our life? Like, I know you just talked about dreams, but is there other things we can look for to see him giving us communication?
It depends on your reception and connectivity. And also, I mentioned this a little earlier on how much you've developed your relationship with him. And it may need you may need to, probably will need to strengthen your relationship with him. And that happens through regular, consistent service and in prayer, So, oh, Guru Maharaj, give me this, give me that, give me your mercy. Don't ask for something you're not prepared to accept. So you have to be very careful. Just what you request, really, the request should be, how can I serve you? But you may not be ready to actually perceive the reply. So the best is then, is to offer your service and continue following the best service you can offer is through following his instructions.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, I was muted, Prabhu.
I know I saw your mouth, but I couldn't. I don't read lips,
Sorry,
so
but yeah, I just want to say in the chat that there's a lot of gratitude coming from all the devotees for you giving us your association to them, and two main points they really like that you said, that to keep connected to your guru every day, talk to your guru, and one of them mentioned that they would like to start a diary writing to their guru. So
yeah, that's a very good. I don't do that, but I know it's a very good way. And when I'm saying talk, I'm saying speak. And of course, if you're in a situation where you can't actually speak, then you can internalize the dialogue.
yeah.
This is for interrupting. My name is Bhakti Devi dasi. I'm also a disciple. I mean, I'm older disciple, but what personally make me understand what is my spiritual master, what is through the eyes of his god brothers, based in particular, and the close servants, because I saw the
Yeah.
big picture of the guru, who he is, what he accomplished, and my horizon opened, and I was 3 hours or more in the Los Angeles presentation of the memorial. And it was so coordinated, so nicely. The disciple invited the president, the other devotees, the other BBT man. He gave us stories after stories. And I said, this is the guru, really? Like in service, what he created in this world. He opened my horizon thinking, me and I, like, what can I do, I mean, I have a lapses also, I complain, but when I hear other devotees talking about him, especially God brothers, see the big appreciation the world had. Like
Yeah.
you, Malati Mataji, I mean, so many people, like the BBT was Vavas, it was other devotees, very important, who have active relationship.
Yes. Very good point.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt anything, but I wanted to say something.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. A very good point.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Would anybody else have anything to add? Or any questions or any realizations? And then if not, there's Vimla Bhakti Devi Dasi from Calgary. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji,
Hare
Mother
Krishna.
Malati.
Hare
I was
Krishna.
so curious to see you, to hear your voice. And thank you, Sir Mangala Mataji, for organizing this. I was reading, right now I'm reading Prabhupada's Leela Amrit, and your and all the early devotees' names are mentioned. And I was so fascinated to hear and to meet or to see them. So that is one thing. Where I see that little bit of what I am resonating, that when Maharaj was here, physically, he was present. I think that it was me. I felt I took him as for granted, I believe. But as you mentioned, that you felt more closure to Srila Prabhupada after his departure. And that is a very strong statement. And I think that maybe that would be another kind of my reverence to Guru Maharaj in that way. So yeah, and that will be more attached. I think that maybe talking to all the devotees, talking to the God brothers, talking to senior Vaishnavas, talking to other devotees, it will help me in getting more attached to Guru Maharaj. And that's what I feel. So right now I'm like, I had only small pictures of Guru Maharaj, but now today only I printed some bigger pictures and I wanted to post it so that I have that blessings and all. So I'm feeling that, okay, that was a very strong statement, and that will help me become more closer to Guru Maharaj and to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for your association, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
It
Krishna.
was not overnight. It took some time.
Yes. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So does anybody else have any questions or anything else? And then we will end this session. And
Just wanted to say something that I missed before. My name is Bhakti Devi Dasi again, because through those narrations, we would see how close to Srila Prabhupada was, because he took the mission of Srila Prabhupada so strongly, so seriously, and that he brought us very close to Srila Prabhupada. An appreciation I have to develop for serving the devotees, serving the deities, understanding a little deeper the mission of Srila Prabhupada is a very serious business. It's not like, anyway, for me. Yeah, thank you. I have a lot of association of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Occasional, not like others, but enough to, anyway,
all right.
thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to say that His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj left 10 instructions, and they echo exactly what Srila Prabhupada has been telling us. And I just quickly like to read them briefly before we end this session. First one, he says, always accept His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada as founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And always accept, number 2, always accept ISKCON Governing Body Commission as the ultimate management authority of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada's representative, and to follow its instruction directions. Number 3, lead your life so as to be exemplary representative of ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. Number 4, cooperate together with all other ISKCON devotees to push this movement forward. Number 5, when some of you advance sufficiently to become gurus and sannyasis to work under the GBC authorized process, to take up those services. Number 6, never leave ISKCON, first and foremost. Number 7, never align yourself with persons or groups not authorized by GBC. 8, seriously study Srila Prabhupada books on regular basis, chant 16 rounds and 25 rounds at least, and follow the 4 regulatory principle. Number 9, work to make ISKCON a dynamic society. Number 10, continue donating your time and resources to ISKCON's causes, which is exactly how Grace Malati Prabhu mentioned, that we should continue with this mission and continue our services and remembering our Guru. And this is the way to stay connected with our Guru. So thank you so much, Malati Prabhu, for coming online today and sharing so much with us. It's always a pleasure to have your association. We just cannot get enough. And I would like to say thank you to every one of you, wherever you're joining us tonight. And we should carry on this mission and chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you.
His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
Yay.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Recording.